It looks like Sala the Beast is going to be able to contend for the starting left guard spot. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. And like I said before the intro, we're going to be talking about the left guard competition because Sala, the Ravens' 6th round pick this year, looks like he is contending and has a shot at being the starting left guard for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, before I get into this video, let me know your thoughts on the new intro. I got a new outro as well. Super excited to show you guys that. I debuted it in yesterday's video, but we are back with the Daily Ravens content. Joshua and I are recording the Truzz the Bank podcast tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And let us know any questions or topics you want us to cover in that, in case, you want us to talk about something specific or a particular player or a particular event, and things of that sort. So don't worry, that content is returning. We will be back. But in this video, again, we're going to be talking about the left guard spot, so let's jump right into it. If you didn't know, the offensive line is pretty much set in stone across the board, except for left guard. You got Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, you have Tyler Linderbaum at center, you have Kevin Zeitler at right guard, and you have Morgan Moses at that right tackle. So then it became, okay, who's playing left guard? Because we don't know. It is a big-time competition right now. Players such as Ben Cleveland, Daniel Faalele, obviously Sala, and if anybody's like, why are you calling him Sala? I cannot even attempt. You know what? We're going to give one attempt. It's Almavee Laulu Maleasala. We're going with Sala. His Twitter is Sala the Beast. That's what we're calling him for this video. Patrick McCarry is another player that's in the mix at that left guard spot. And, we have John Simpson as well. We have some undrafted free agents as well. I'll give some shout outs. Tykeem Doss, Tayshawn Manning. We don't really have Andrew Voorhees, but those are all the players competing for the left guard spot. It's a lot. This is a position that we do not know who will be starting. We lost Ben Powers, who was a really good left guard for the Ravens. So now it's, okay, who's going to step into that role? And Sala was drafted as an offensive tackle. He was a right tackle for the Oregon Ducks. He was a staple for the Oregon Ducks. As a Pac-12 guy, I've watched Sala play many games, and I didn't necessarily know his name, but you could see him on the field as the guy with the crazy hair, and he's the guy mauling people over. If you ever want to watch the Oregon Ducks run the football, he's always going to be showing up in that film. So overall, it was like, okay, he's a right tackle. We obviously have Daniel Faalele as somebody who is a right tackle and is developing to be that right tackle next to Morgan Moses. But at the same time, he was someone who, he's 6'8", he's like 360 pounds, but maybe we get him at the offensive line spot. Just trying to get him on the field at that left guard spot because, again, we don't know who's going to start. And then, the other guy really in the mix is Ben Cleveland, who was a 3rd-round pick out of Georgia. Actually, I believe was in Todd Monken's offense or was helped recruited by Todd Monken. He does have connections to Todd Monken. I don't know if he necessarily played for him, but I believe there is a connection with him and Georgia. So, obviously that right there is an initial connection, but why not throw Sala in at the left guard spot? Because what he is he is a mauler offensive beast. There's a reason they call him the Beast, and it's because he's physical. And he's not crazy technical. That's the reason that he wasn't even seen as an NFL draft prospect coming into this year. He played his way basically into the NFL draft, and we're going to have to see, okay, what can he do? Because the reason he was drafted is he's a freak athlete that's strong and big. And if you don't know his measurables, he's 6'5.5", 317 pounds. He had a 28.5 vertical jump, 7.65 3-cone, 475 shuttle. Like, again, he's not Trent Williams, but he's athletic. All right, he can move, he can pull, he can shift across the line. But I think this is something that I love, and it's just the idea of testing things out. And I talked about this in the video yesterday with regards to 4th down and 2-point conversions. When should the Ravens do it? And I was like, test it out. See what works. If being aggressive works, do that. If being aggressive doesn't work, then stop. When you have an open spot on the offensive line, let somebody try it out. Let your, developmental right tackle try it. Right? You let Daniel Faalele, let Sala, let them try it. If it doesn't work, that's fine. That's not their natural position. You're going to move them outside once Morgan Moses retires, right? But let's say Kevin Zeitler retires next year or leaves Baltimore. He said he doesn't really plan on retiring, but let's say he leaves Baltimore, gets a big contract, well-deserved. I think Kevin Zeitler's a monster. Let's say Morgan Moses retires, and we go, okay, Daniel Faalele, you're playing right tackle for us. You've earned it. Then we're like, why do we even have Sala? Just a backup tackle? Oh, wait a minute. He just had experience playing left guard. Maybe we shift him over to right guard and we sign a left guard, or we draft a left guard, or we keep him at that left guard position. Or Ben Cleveland takes over at left guard and we have, Sala try the right guard spot. Again, versatility is key in the offensive line, and it's key for depth on the offensive line, because even if he doesn't win the starting job, that's Sala, and maybe it's Ben Cleveland. If there's an injury, and you've at least been training him on how to play left guard as well as offensive tackle, it allows the Ravens to be versatile, because we have Andrew Voorhees coming next year. And a lot of people may be like, 7th round pick, who cares? That guy was a day 2 pick. That guy was a day 2 pick prior to that severe injury he suffered. I believe he was running the 40 when it happened, but he was a day 2 player. He could start right away. He's now learning the offense. He's going to step in next season, and I think he's going to be a monster, but we don't have next season. We got this season, and we're trying to win right now, and Sala competing at that left guard spot is absolutely going to benefit the Baltimore Ravens, and it allows for the Ravens to maybe not keep as many offensive linemen on the depth chart. Hey, we don't need to keep a specific left tackle backup. Instead, we have Sala, who's maybe our left tackle and left guard backup, because maybe if Faalele or Ben Cleveland ended up winning that spot. But the Ravens, I feel like, have been very good at drafting offensive linemen, especially interior offensive linemen. I think that's where they've excelled the most. Obviously, not everybody has been a major success. I think the most recent, quote, flop would be Ben Bredeson out of, guess what, the University of Michigan. But the Ravens ended up trading him for a draft pick to the New York Giants. So, even though it wasn't an amazing selection, we still got something out of it. And you look at Tyler Linderbaum, fantastic. Obviously, Ronnie Stanley, fantastic. I think Faalele was a really good draft pick recently. We haven't seen Ben Cleveland. He's somebody, he's on the fence. He could be really good, or he could be a flop. But we have, we brought in Patrick McCarry. We brought in Tristan Colon Castillo. We had Ben Powers. That was a really good pick out of Oklahoma. We had, obviously, Orlando Brown Jr. Eric DaCosta has done a pretty good job with these offensive linemen and bringing them in. And I remember listening to and talking with people around not just the NFL, but scouts, college stuff. It's offensive line is not as much talent. Not saying you don't have to be talented to play, but what distinguishes a player that's able to make it in the NFL isn't necessarily talent all the time. It's really a lot on coaching, because most players, almost every offensive lineman coming out of college is very raw, because the offensive systems are just so much less complex than in the NFL that it comes down to the offensive line coaches at the NFL level. And that's why you see so many guys from certain schools thrive in the NFL, is because they're able to have those really good coaches. It's difficult to find just like, oh yeah, this stud offensive lineman out of, some random college, whereas maybe you find a wide receiver that's a stud, or a quarterback that's a stud, because it's more, I don't want to say talent based, but it's able to be seen easier. Coaching matters a lot, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Ravens offensive line coaches for how they've been able to develop those offensive linemen. But Sala is somebody that I think even just giving him an opportunity, some reps, is going to be beneficial in the long run for his development and for the development of the Ravens offensive line, because having players that know everybody else in the offensive line and in those other positions, you get to start understanding, right? Oh, That's why I need to shift over, because when you're playing, maybe he's used to playing right tackle, right? And he gets frustrated when sometimes the guard doesn't, take the guy who's right side or whatever it is. And he starts playing guard and he goes, "Oh, that's why." And you start learning more, not about your natural position, but about other positions, and it helps you understand more about that natural position that you may have. So I think overall it's going to be a great thing. I'm very excited to see how it plays out. But let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. Do you think Sala is going to, how competent is he going to be at left guard? Do you think he ends up winning the job? And your thoughts on kind of testing out these developmental offensive tackles at playing the interior offensive line positions. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.